What is up, guys? Welcome back to the SuperCoach Experience podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Savage, the coach of the Savage Meanies. Yes, you heard that right. The Savage Meanies. The Bears are coming in 2027. And Timmy, I'm joined by Timmy. I'm a Bears fan.
I do like Meanie Savages. It's got a bit of a Savages are Meanies. Like if you're a Savage or a Meanie, like a Meanie face.
You do have a bit of a Meanie vibe about
The Savage Meanies, yeah.
Like it's got like they're both sort of like Meanie, you know, it's like bad girls, you know what I mean?
You do sound like a bit of a loose cannon, eh? I get that sort of vibe.
What is that? Anyway, you heard someone else on the mic. We got Big Les, the coach of Les's Bears.
That's it.
Did you keep it going?
Les's Bears?
Yeah, it's still Les's Bears.
Les's Bears. So
you both got a bear theme running through your team name there.
I was going to go the Savage Grizzlies, but the Guru has taken the Grizzlies, and I feel like that'd be a bit of copyright.
Also, I feel like the Perth Bears, they took the Bears from me, to be fair. I'll have a Bears for longer.
Yeah.
Been a Bear for a while.
It's fair, I guess. Joined by Timmy, the coach of the Villi Army. How are you doing after the week after the Front Row Forward podcast?
Yeah, I mean, good. It's great to be into halfbacks. I mean, you're excited about the props, but I get more excited about the attacking players.
I thought I heard a spider. Yeah. How can you hear a spider?
Is there another guest we don't know about?
Sat down beside her and, you know, what's that nursery one? About the spider sitting down beside you?
I do get really excited over the front row forwards. They're the least exciting position in SuperCoach, but I feel like you can find gems out of them. With halfbacks, this year in particular, in comparison to the front rowers, I think we plan to do an episode of halfbacks and 5'8s initially. Once we looked into it, every single halfback is relevant. And I think the halfbacks this year is a lot more relevant than the front row forwards. Les, you've been a late addition, so you're just going to comment and see what your thoughts are, and maybe you'll learn something.
Yeah, well, that's the plan, right? I want to sit in and just grab that insight from you guys.
We did your team reveals / team roasting. I feel like there was a lot of comments on not having the team on the screen, which was very valid, but we're in the swanky studio, so I didn't want to ruin the aesthetics there, so apologies for that. Timmy, halfbacks. Last week we did front row forwards, and we didn't vote for our MVP, so I want to kick off the show with the MVP of the front row forwards. We did our MVP for the hookers, remember, was Sandon Smith of the Green Book. 4 front row forwards.
Oh, like I feel like maybe Paseka seems like the standout, like cheapy sort of value pick maybe, but I don't know if he's an MVP. I mean, Payne Haas seems pretty obvious. There is like, I'm a little bit curious about players like Hopgood, but there's no certainty about his position and stuff, so it's hard to really, who would you feel? I mean, you like Jesse Calhoun, so maybe he's your boy, huh?
Maybe
Toby Couchman.
I'm leaning Toby Couchman.
Toby Couchman, yeah, very popular underground, yeah.
I was thinking
I just bought his CD and I'm listening to it, by the way. Loving it.
He made a joke last week, Les, that Toby Couchman in SuperCoach is like the underground guy. Like everyone that talks about Toby Couchman talks about him really quietly. Like he's the only, like you've got on him before he's got famous.
Yeah, right.
And so that's the listening to his CD reference. Yeah, I was thinking about on the way here. I feel like SuperCoach is such a simple game, but we overcomplicate it. Jermaine Hopgood, we're looking at him and we're really serious about him. He's averaged really well over the last couple of years, but there's factors.
We're a little bit less last year, but
there's obvious factors that we're ignoring because we really want to like these guys because of their past. Jack DeBellin has come to the club, so that's another person to eat into the minutes. So the role isn't quite as attractive. You've got Keon Kalamatangi, Cameron Murray's back to the club. Brandon Smith could spell time in the middle, so there's more minutes eating into that. So I feel like there's compared to what his best kind of value is, there's a lot of negatives. With Toby Couchman, you've got David Clemmer, Jack DeBellin leaving the club. It's just so simple, and I think we overcomplicate it so much, and we want to love these players that we're so attached to because they've scored well for us in the past. Toby Couchman is one that I'm just like, I'm going to find a way to get him in. He's not in at the moment, but it's just so simple. Is it? Am I wrong?
he looks pretty good. It does look like there's a little bit of value there based on, you know, the amount of minutes that he'd played in the past. And, you know, I think he said when he's over 55 or 51 minutes.
Over 51 minutes, he averages 71 compared to the 60 he's priced at.
An extra 10 points value there. So we assume he probably will get those sorts of minutes, just based on the seniority within the side. He seems like he's probably going to get them. But, yep, I like him. Let's give it to him. And let's move on to the halfbacks because we've got, here we are. It's this week. I'm excited to get into them.
Yeah, let's get into the halfbacks. I was going to get your thoughts on Toby Couchman, but front row forward pass is done and gone. But let's talk about Nathan Cleary. $826,100, 84.5 average in 2025. The first 5 rounds last year, he averaged 60.5, but in the first 3 the year before, it was 76.7. I've got myself a bit.
Well, start again, if you don't mind. Sorry, you just got really heavy. I was sort of, flirting with.
I know that rattled me so badly. So
I was just saying you threw him a dummy. You know what I mean? You were about to go to him, and then you pulled it back.
Okay, he averaged 60.5 in his first 5 last year, 76.7 in the first 3 last year before being injured, 56.7 in his first 3 in 2023, but then went on to get 124 and 158. You can last 3 rounds without Cleary. You can do it fine. But it seems after he gets match fitness and really gets the flow of the rule adaptions, there's been a rule adaption every year, just gets into the game, kind of the routine of game day.
He likes to warm into it in the first couple of games, not open any cans in the first 2.
So maybe the first 3 rounds you can go without him, but once he cooks and gets his first big score, then you can't go without him. And I feel like you can look at this 2 ways.
You might as well just almost start with him if you think you're getting him round 3 then.
Exactly. So, if you can take a 56.7 average over the first 3 weeks, compare that to someone who we might look at later who could average 60 over the first 3 weeks, and we're stoked with that.
At a cheaper price.
You got to weigh up the price versus the cost.
But also, sure, that could be what Cleary looks like in the first 3 rounds, but you've got to take the draw into account as well. They've got a pretty nasty draw, Penrith, to start the year, so I just don't know if you're going to get that level of what we've seen previously from Cleary in those opening rounds while he is warming in. I almost think it's going to be that times 2. I feel like you're going to have a bit of a slow start for Cleary, so I think it's safer going elsewhere to start.
That could work the other way, though, because it is a pretty tricky draw over the first few weeks.
They've got to win one way or another, and when they win, it's usually through him. But yeah,
it's not even that. But if he's going to average 55 in the first 3 anyway, then it opens up when he's ready to go. He's been in my side all preseason. He's not in my side at the moment.
Yeah, I haven't had him in my side yet, and it's funny because I feel like I'd prefer to sort of maybe spend elsewhere or try get a little bit of value and make some money out of a lower priced player, I should say, that might have some more value in them, like Mitchell Moses, which I'm sort of cutting ahead to him, but he's a lot cheaper than some of the other guys above him. With Nathan Cleary, you do say you probably he gets that big ton by about round 3 or 4, and then it feels like we want to all rush him in. So it sounds like a long time, 3 weeks at the start of the season, but it happens pretty quickly, doesn't it? It's all of a sudden, all right, now we've got to get him, and then you've got to sell someone to get him, and you sort of got to make a sacrifice and cut someone else, which can be okay because sometimes someone else in your side that you start with doesn't, maybe you spend over in the centre wings doesn't work out or whatever, but yeah, it's tough. If you're going to downgrade someone like a centre winger, like say you have Herbie Farnworth and he's not working out for you in the first, 3 rounds, you kind of want to give guys with upside like a Herbie a bit of time to because you sell them after the first 3 rounds and then they put on those big ones. So yeah, it's tough call. I'm thinking that I'm just going to with the draw try to lean into a bit of that, because there's one nicer game which is the Eels in round 4, but still the Eels are kind of they're not the Eels of the front part of last year. So it goes Broncos, Sharks, Roosters, Eels, Storm and Dogs. You could pretty much say 5 of those are a top 4 side. And then maybe even, you feel like the Eels are the Canberra of last year, so they're saying that they could potentially be minor premiers based on everything I'm seeing in your little stats on and stuff that you're doing on socials. But yeah, if we look at Nathan Cleary's just over percentages, this is probably over the season, and it's not necessarily something that's going to come out in the first couple of rounds. Over 90 is 37%, which is the same as Payne Haas at 38% over 90. So I'm just comparing different positions, but which is why I'd rather start with someone like Payne Haas. Over 80%, Cleary's 58%. Payne Haas is 76. This is over scores over 80, so about an extra nearly 20% there. Scores over 70, Cleary 68, Payne Haas 81. And then scores over 60, Cleary 79, Payne Haas 86. So Payne actually wins on every check mark point there. So that's across the season. So,
yeah.
But I think for the most part, Payne Haas scores pretty much what he starts with. Is there's not much variance in that. He doesn't have to work up to the attack.
It'll probably be the back end of the season where Cleary's on the higher scale.
Yeah. So I like if I'm spending $800K and I can only do it on one or two players. I mean, I'd prefer Payne Haas, and I'm probably not going to have Cleary in my side to start the season unless, I don't know, there's a few others fall off or something like that.
I think just as, looking at the hard draw, Brisbane just won a comp, but SuperCoach-wise, he actually averages most against the Broncos compared to any other side. He averages 93.3 in 11 games. So that's 933 points? No, that'd be 10.
I dropped maths. I'm not looking at me.
He would have scored 933 plus another 93.3. So let's do the maths. 1,022.3, 0.6, whatever. Anyway, he averages 93.3 against the Broncos in 11 games. Low score of 53. So based on that, you take that for the first game, and compared to all these other guys, I'm confident Cleary can do a job against the Broncos. Yeah,
so I've just got another stat here. First score of 100. So 2025, that was round 7, 116, but he did get 94 in round 5. Then 2024, he did it in round 3, 120. That was against... that was against the Broncos.
Yeah.
Yep. 2023 was round 5 against the Raiders, 124. And then 2022 didn't play the first 3 rounds. But when he did play in his third game of the season, which would have been round 6, scored 151, and then the week after 158. So it is around that sort of 3 to 5
week. Who was 151
period.
Against?
Didn't note that down.
Broncos.
Was it?
Tell you that, the Broncos. And he's missing a score. The grand final against the Broncos, he scored 156 or something like that. So... he likes the Broncos, and the Broncos are scarred from him. The Broncos just won a comp, so it could be different. But, looking at this tough draw to start the year.
I'm not saying don't start with Nathan because, he knows the job he's got ahead. He knows he's got a tough draw, and I don't think the Panthers are going to want to start as slow as they did last year, so that's another thing to factor as well.
Quick one before we move on from Claire's.
I wasn't going to. I was going to go to you anyway.
Oh, yeah?
Because I think from an NRL point of view, preseason, I think the biggest thing I'm worried about is he's only just started preseason pretty much.
Yeah.
The start of January.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's obviously a little bit of a worry there as well. My sort of question was going to be as well, if, let's say they lose the first 3 games, the Panthers, and Cleary doesn't have the best performances, is his price going to drop low enough for that trade, or where if he does start playing well round 4, 5, 6, where that trade is going to be, you don't have to sacrifice someone else that's going really well, or that's quite integral.
It could be more of a straight swap sort of thing.
I like this question, and I like that he's here asking this question, because this is something we'd kind of gloss over.
Yeah.
Usually, if someone doesn't make up to their price and they're really underperforming, the most their break even can really go is 190 or something. So if they score a 50 and they're 150 below their break even, that's 120k lost in 1 week. If they miss their break even by 150, if they miss it by 100, then that's 80k. So I
don't reckon it'll be that big though. I don't reckon.
Yeah, well,
as an example,
exactly. So, he's based on an 84.5 average. Whatever he averages below, he'd have to shit the bed for his break-even to be 190. But if he loses 120k in the first week, what if he scores on that on that 4th week? He tends to go on this. We've talked about it. Once he gets to the 4th and 5th game, he tons up 2 in a row.
And the first week doesn't necessarily matter as much as the second week, because that'll roll out a lot faster.
Exactly. Too, so say his break-even's 190, he has kind of shit the bed early on. Usually at this point in time, he kind of hits his straps anyway. He scores 120, only loses 40k. What are you really saving?
But another thing, if you did want to start with Nathan, you could start with him, and if he he's killing it. You don't have to worry about bringing him in when everyone else has got to scramble and I've got to deal with upgrading to get Mitchell Moses out to get him in, or trying to get one of my bottom dollar cheapies, or am I going to try buy Nathan at flex and stressing about how I'm going to do it, which fullback am I going to do? You could just start with him, and then if it doesn't go particularly well, you could offload him, or you could just be patient and hold through and not cost yourself the trade and know that it's coming. And if you are saving, if you do, spend money, if you do spend money on him now, and I mean, it's going to take away from it elsewhere. But
are you better off?
What's a trade worth too?
Are you better off just saving the money and going for two good players rather than going all in on Cleary?
It's a good question.
At halfback.
It's a good question.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you want to get one of the cheapies. There's so many decent cheapies.
Yeah, but not even just from halfback. You're just going to get another gun in another position as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think if you weighed up Payne Haas's and Nathan Cleary's stats before, I wouldn't forego a Payne Haas to get in Nathan Cleary. I think that's obvious from the stats we've been revealing. They're pretty much the same player.
And Nathan will have to do a lot of work, and it'll have to look really pretty and wonderful, and then to get
it'll be more exciting.
And to get us, it will be more exciting.
Yeah,
to get a similar score to what you'd imagine Payne would get just by sort of going out, taking his runs, doing his work with maybe a little bit of flair in one or two moments.
I feel like because we're starting at the top, we haven't really got a reference guide. So I think once we go through all the players, we kind of do have a reference. I know in the Hooker podcast, we always referred we could just get Harry Grant for 100k more or something.
Well, what
that.
I've got else with every player is how much less they are than Nathan too.
Oh, that's a nice guide.
Nice.
Are we starting with him, Les?
No.
I'm chucking him in the green book, so I think you'd have to be, nonsense person. You just don't put him in the green book, you know what I mean? So he might not make the side to start the season. He'll definitely be in the side at some point of the season. Just a matter of how quickly.
Nico Hines, 749,300. We're all talking about Nathan Cleary. He got second in the Daily Aim, absolutely glazed. And I love Nathan Cleary, but Nico Hines was talked like he was a piece of shit. And he's only 76k less than Nathan Cleary. He averaged 81 after round 7. Gold Coast, Penrith, Dolphins in the first 3. Once Brayley took over with his running game, we saw when it happened in that St. George game, he averaged 84 since then. So his average at a 75, he averaged 84 once Brayley took over. So I think this is once the Trindle/Hines combo really started to gel. Averaged 75 in 2024, but was averaging 93.7 before he got injured. So Hines is a player that I think because of circumstances, we kind of look at him and think, is he he's not quite what he was in SuperCoach, but I think he's just kind of gone through a lean period in the back end of 2024, and in 2025, I think they've really tried to fine-tune the way the Sharks play. I love Nico Hines.
If I'm spending $750 to $800k, I'm going Nico hands down over Nathan. Just looking at the draw for one is Titans, Panthers, Finns. So already 2 of the first 3 games are softer. Panthers a little harder there. I mean also too. He scores the tons pretty quickly. Last year, it was round 3, 115 v the Bunnies. 2024, round 7, 142 v the Cows. 2023, he did not play the first 3 rounds, but his first game was round 4 and he scored 180. Went bang, I think we can remember that, and then went 102 the week after. And 2022 started hot too. Round 2, 101. Round 3, 124. Round 5, 117. So I could actually see him starting quite potentially hot too. The Sharks are a well-oiled side. They don't really need to work anything out. They're not trying things. They're just...
Well, that's what my sort of next question was going to be. Are we now very confident that they've worked out this Trindle and Hines?
We would hope so, right?
We've talked about it on our NRL show, and I think we've gotten to the point where, it can work. Yeah. I think for a long time we were like, nah, it's not going to work. But
Nico just, towards the back end of last year, sort of had got an attitude, not an attitude shift, but just sort of grew some mongrel. Like there was this change where he's like, give me the ball and just ran and was like, get on me bloody way.
And I love that when
That
he's
was mad.
skipping across the field and he just calls for the ball and like the confidence to have that while Trindle is doing all the stuff a game manager does, not necessarily managing the game, but letting him do that stuff. Doesn't mean Nico isn't the boss. Nico gets the ball when he wants it, and I feel like this is why, like, in the past, I thought they were both a bit too greedy in their own sense. Like, Nico kind of wanted to do everything, and Trindle kind of wanted to do a bit more of the flashy stuff. But I feel like they've learnt, and I think another preseason working on that.
And I guess, so leading into that, which will sort of answer our question for sure, we all watched that Storm and Sharks game together there at Drink West.
Oh, we did too.
Yeah. Off the back of that game, is there anything else for sure that I guess those two would need to work on to be absolutely confident that that halves pairing is now going to gel and it's going to do well to start the year?
Probably.
I reckon I think it coincides with Brayley, honestly.
Sorry, I was just trying to think of a joke because I was drinking the Orange Crushes, the Drink West.
I think
orange
part of
drinks then.
Brayley, though, just sort of going forward and rolling forward and letting this, allowed the rest of the side just to flow off the back of that. So rather than sort of those two boys having an arm wrestle or, doodle messaging contest, they sort of, what I said, messaging. Yeah.
Doodle messaging.
Measuring, I meant to say.
Doodle measuring.
Yeah.
Doodle messaging contest. I like that.
Back and forth on the text. Check this one. Yeah, check this one. Yeah. No, you know what I mean though. Like rather than them two sort of butting heads, it sort of had someone else through the middle, just sort of going, "This is the way we're going. Come with me." So I think if they can keep with that, which I think they're going to, because I think that was what was working for them. Brayley running, side firing. I got a good feeling about them. I think they work. The Sharks went one step further again last year, and they're probably going to want to go one step further again. So good side.
It's the recipe to success with them using Brayley as their kind of chief, I guess, or just the guy who gains the momentum for them. And I think one thing that I love about Hines' footy is he's he calls for the ball close to the line after Brayley gets a scoot, and there's no stopping him. There's always an attacking stat that comes with it.
Let's just say you start with a cheaper halfback, and then you can start to see that Cleary and Hines are starting to get hot. Who would you rather jump on in that scenario?
I don't know. I'm like, after this conversation, after these two guys, I'm just like, fuck, can we get one of these in our flex?
I'd rather start with Nico, but if I feel like they were both showing signs their hand of like hotness, I'd rather back Nath like week in, week out.
I don't know, because I feel like Nathan kind of gets to that 115 and the whole side runs hot, whereas Nico
he can go those massive ones sometimes.
He goes those 180s much more often, and we haven't seen it as much with Trindle in the side, but I think we're starting to see it again. But yeah,
his over percentages, like over X, are not as fantastic. Like over 90% was only 21%, whereas Nath was 37, so it's a big shift. 80%, only scoring over 80 points, 29%, over 70 points, 54%, over 60, 75%.
You know what would be grouse to say, and I think that this would sort of make my decision for me, if there was a stat where you could get how long they held their highest average for, like over a certain number of weeks, and how, like...
When they go on runs.
When they go on runs, how long do those runs last for? That would sort of make my decision a little easier.
Yeah.
I'd like to see if one of them gets hot, how long are they hot for before their score drops back down again?
Just not eyeing the numbers, I think that's something good to bring up. But not eyeing the numbers, I think Cleary holds it for longer.
Consistent, feels more consistent.
Nico goes on these hot streaks, and especially the matchups that he has in the first three, I think we saw Parramatta round one last year. New coach, new systems, whole complete cleaned outside. Do we think the Titans are kind of doing that? And based on round one team list, it already looks like they're going to have a new edge back rower, new centre pairing, potentially new halves, new forward pack. The Titans might be improved this year, but it still might take a while to figure out. And I know a lot of people base it on last year and Tigers are still shit. You know what I mean? But I think with this Titans matchup and then Dolphins, we think they're going to be hot. They got Penrith round 2, so maybe it's the best time to have Penrith. But where was I going with this? This is where the hot streak could be. like just right from round one.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, he started hot in the past, I mean, his first game in round 23 was 180.
Yeah.
That was round 4 because he didn't play the first 3 rounds,
Yep.
but like he can start hard. Yeah, I
Starting
like
with him?
No.
Possibly. I could. Possibly.
Yeah.
But I don't have him on my side at the moment.
It's definitely something to think about for me, to be honest. I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, it's funny because like I thought we couldn't top Cleary straight away. We'll glazing him straight away.
I'd say if there was no cheapy halfbacks, I'd say definitely. Like
Start with both?
he'd be in one of my two at least. Whether there would be another guy like Moses or someone cheaper, but because there's a cheapy guy, I don't know that I can.
I don't think with how, like, especially with how many good players, well, the lack of good players, I guess, and the amount of cheapies that you have in halfback, I just don't think it's going to be worth going double, Cleary Hines. Was that where you were sort of going?
I was just about to ask that. Yeah,
I don't
like,
see
could you go with it as, you know, there's always an option that everybody kind of glazes over every year. Like people are considering double halfback cheapies, because they're so good.
I don't feel like it's the structure this year. It just doesn't feel right.
If we get enough, could it be like the kind of pods you go for? Because I feel like these two halfbacks, compared to the fullbacks in the years past, they have a bigger ceiling.
Well, just going off, I know you sort of skewed Nico's, like you said, in the first, I think he said in his first 7 rounds he averaged 81 or something last year. Well, I've been going off 6 for every player, as a fixed number. So in his first 6 games last year, he only averaged 66 points.
So it's very similar to the Cleary thing.
And then Cleary was 78, which is a lot nicer, but still it's not it's not 100. Like I mean, Payne Haas felt like he was averaging 100 to start the year last year. I mean, so I feel like he can go other ways.
I think if you do go double halfback, I'd be more inclined, and we've brought this guy up a couple of times, and we've got a long way to go before we get to him, but I'd probably have Moses as one if I was going double good halfback.
That's also an avenue. One of these guys with Moses, because you're saving 300k really, or 250k with Hines.
But you can't miss these cheapies. So
Green Book.
Yep. And more likely to feature than Nathan.
Yep.
In my side to start.
Before we move on to the next one, February 20th, Friday night, we're doing a creator draft, which is Blake Russell is running it through his brand, Let the Boys Play. He's putting up $1,000 for chosen charities. We already have Clarkie's NRL column. We have Flaxy. What did I say? Flaxy second. Blake Russell from Danny and Blake on TikTok.
Come on, brah. That's like us, man. What do you mean?
Well, there's so many good names, and I say Flaxy second. Con from Aussie Shore is going. We've got announced tomorrow Sean Devaney from Short Stack.
Ooh.
Do you know Sean Devaney from Short Stack?
No, but I know Flaxy, so shout out to him.
Who else? There's another big name I'm missing. Malachi Watini's Lesniak as well. So February 20th, 5 p.m. at Swing City. There's going to be like a bunch of challenges for the draft order, and the draft's going to be on the big screen and hosted by Danny from Danny and Blake. So that's going to be a good night out. Come for some few drinks, and then pretty much be the pre-drinks to the charity match on Sunday. Big Les.
Yes, it sure will.
Jaden Campbell, 711,400. I came into this thinking Jaden Campbell. What do we expect of him? Like, I don't think I'm going to look at him straight away, which I haven't considered him in my side yet, but the stats really impressed me. Without the injury-affected games last year, average is 77. He's priced at a 72.8, so we always look for that value. I like that straight up. The one thing that surprised me a lot, he averaged 68.5 versus top 8 sides. He averaged 84.6 against bottom 8 sides. And the thing that impresses me there is that
his draw. He's got a good draw with bottom 8 sides that he got in the first 6 rounds.
Well, I didn't even get that far. I just looked at that, and I like that there's a clear disparity between bottom 8 and top 8 sides.
Well, I didn't dig into that. Not like that stat. That's good too. That's a great stat.
Well, yeah, and the 68.5, like 68.5 against top 8 sides, I think that's really good as well. The thing I think is that when you get these guys and they have too many top 8 kind of matchups, you're taking too much of of a big hit throughout the start of the season when they do have the top 8 matchups.
Just like to shout out the Patreon chat. Tim Colwell's in the chat. That was the beep that interrupted the podcast. But I just thought if anything's going to beep and interrupt the podcast, it should be the Patreon WhatsApp chat.
Patreon.com/SC
Any tips, guys? He's just asking for any tips. Check the podcast. Other than that, thanks for the question. But yeah, sorry for the interruption.
Oh, I thought it was related.
Yeah, I thought it might have been a good...
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out Tim Colwell. Yeah, and I just thought give you an opportunity to plug it, give it a plug.
Yeah, I didn't really want to stop the podcast to plug it today because we already stopped it for the charity match. And
yeah, well, there you go. I did. There you go. You don't have to feel bad because I've done it. There you go. So can I just chime back in before? Yeah, because you were sort of saying that he does really well, more so against the bottom 8 sides, and I'm sure every player goes better against lower 8 sides, you know what I mean? But he's got Sharks, tough one first up, but then he goes Finns, Cows, Dragons, nice 3 games, and then Broncos, and then Para. So of that first 6 games, you could say 3 or 4 of those are generally, you've got to find a bottom, they're probably the bottom-ish sort of sides, at least from last year anyway.
The consistency surprised me a lot last year. Les, from a point of view, do you think the new coach and the makeup worries you?
It does a little bit. It's funny to say it about a halfback in SuperCoach, but out of most of the halfbacks you've got in the top 10, he's probably the one where his job security in regards to keeping a 7 spot is probably the least likely. Like, he could move to 1 throughout the year, he could move to 6 throughout the year. Does that entice you a little bit maybe because then he can get a dual position and then you can fit him into your side easier? But I don't know. I just feel like that could stuff around with his scores a little bit because the confidence might drop if he gets moved out of 7 too.
I actually think he played 7 most of the year last year. He's 711,000. He's expensive. He's the 3rd most expensive halfback in the game. And it's out of the 3, it's his worst SuperCoach position too. So I think based on him playing number 7... there's actually value if he does play in other positions. Yeah,
well, if he was playing 5'8" this year, and he was 5'8", dual position, I'd be all over
couldn't he? There is a world where that happened. They could have Ilias at halfback.
Yeah,
Kim as
on tomorrow's
Kinney.
On tomorrow's podcast. We'll shout out to our preview.
You've discussed it, have you?
We discussed the Titans' spine and Jaden Campbell. I think we both agreed that Lachlan Ilias isn't a great half, but I think he's the best makeup for their side.
Yeah, maybe. And then Brimson into the centres. They
got rid of Brian Kelly as well. So
yeah, I think
just off the back of that, if Jaden Campbell was to be at 5'8" halfback, dual position at this stage, are you more likely to pick him over a Munster or one of these other guys? Or is he still too risky, even at 5'8"?
Maybe not to start. It's handy to have the flexibility, but I wouldn't. Yeah, I don't think I'd use it as a
30k more than Munster. If I'm starting with Munster, then I'm starting with Campbell.
More upside and
I think so. I think we've struggled for 5'8s, and we haven't done the research on them all yet, but it's dire there.
Yeah, it does seem a bit bleak. Yeah, and looking at him last year, he started the season, first 6 games, average 74.5. Played only 3 of the first 12 rounds in 2024, but had an average of 75.5. That year, though, was spiked by a score of 170. But he scored that quite early in the season too, so that's handy.
That roped me in for sure.
Yeah.
Green Book. Oh, have you got anything else? Sorry.
No, that is all I've got to really say on that. He scored over 70. These are pretty good numbers. 90%, only 21. Sorry, over 90 scores over 90, only 21%. So that's a little bit less than your Cleary that was 38. Similar to Nico that was about 21. Same. But he shits it over 80 and over 70, 42 and 47% respectively. So that's nearly 50% of the time over 70.
I like him. 30k difference for Nico.
Prefer Nico
a lot more, but I think there's a lot of value if there is a 5'8" dual coming.
I'd say he's not in my contention, except for the first 6 games are hard to ignore, because with someone like Jaden Campbell, he only really goes massive and you feel like you've got to get him when the draw really does open up. You know, like when you're like, whoever that side is each year, it's usually the Titans. He plays for the Titans, but whoever that other side is that usually leaks a lot of points, whenever Jaden Campbell's got them, it's when you start going, he's going to get 170, and he usually does. So he's got 3 opportunities early, the Finns, the Cows and the Dragons. I mean, they're probably going to want to tighten things up, but it's the best opportunities to come up against.
If you're looking for an excuse to not start with Cleary then and bring him in later, is Jaden Campbell that excuse? If he starts hot,
and you could shift straight, it could be a straight swap. Like, just bank on the fact that you reckon that Jaden Campbell will get bigger scores in the first 4 rounds than what Nath will, and then do a straight
It's a good
swap.
tactic, because I feel like the guys that a lot of people are looking at, like Jerome Hughes and Mitchell Moses, who are 600k, it's a lot to get to.
Because I think the halfback and the fullback positions are the good ones to sort of do a bit of roulette and rotation there.
They're also very viable captain options, which is important to start the year, because I know a lot of people are kind of been like, let's set and forget Haas, but I'm not that way inclined. Like, I don't think I'm going to go Haas, and I feel like Madge has had enough to prove to, like, I don't think Haas is going to go all guns blazing straight away. He's just come back off Samoa tour. Just don't know if there's a lot to start hot during the year, the start of the year. So I think there's a case for a lot of these halfbacks, and like motivation wise, I think Campbell and Hines are a lot more than some of these guys we're considering.
115k less than Nathan.
Yep. You've got to make sure you say that. So Green Book.
Yeah, like I'm trying to keep it thin, but he's got to be. Yeah.
You like
with
him,
the draw. I do.
Okay.
I mean, you've got to pick and you've got to eventually cut it down eventually, but we're still a long way out, you know what I mean? And these are probably some of the tougher decisions to be making. And this is, I think, halfbacks and stuff, and make these little slight differences is where who starts hot and who doesn't. And if you start hot, get it right. You just have to tweak less and make less panic stations. The
Hines or Jaden to Cleary after round 3 tactic is probably going to be one that's might go well.
The thing is, I don't know if the Hines to Cleary is going to be a tactic. You're going to want them both. You're going to want them both by that time. So, like, it's going
to be impossible to get them both by round 3, 4. When we've got a cheapie, we're starting with 200k cheapies. They're not going to make their money quick enough.
But the question is, then flex. We could, do you utilise the flex?
Potentially. Then you only bring them into to flex if they're going better than what the fullback options are. You know what I mean? So it's a bit of adjust on the run.
I'll tell you what, Ponga's not starting in round 1, potentially, and I'm so hot on Ponga. If I could get a second one of these,
that'd be great for you. Where if you've got someone you're really emotionally attached, you try not to be emotionally attached to play, but he's one you pretty much.
Ponga is one I've identified, but like if he's not ready to go,
and if you could put a line through him and not have him because no one else could have him, and then do something else that was probably better, maybe that would be great for you. Yeah.
And because these guys are so high in price, you don't even have to go to Ponga. You could go to a Teddy or to someone else.
Exactly. So he's in the Green Book. Is he in Les's log?
Nope.
Is he in Brandon's bog?
I have to have a look through,
he's
mate.
In the toilet. No, he's not in the toilet. I like him, and he replied to one of our Instagram stories the other day. The other month. You know when?
Who are we talking about?
You know when I put that trainer video up? Yeah, Jaden Campbell.
Nice.
Put the trainer video up of Penrith and and I pretty much said on the Instagram reels that he should have just kicked it. Like, he's professional. Like, that shouldn't put him off. Like, the crowd shouldn't put him off. And he messaged me and he's like, "You're right, I should have kicked it."
He's been the bigger man.
He was. I had so much respect for him after that. Not that I didn't before.
Sammy Walker.
I love this. I love this pick. 683,000. So priced at a 69.9. He averaged 80.3 up until his 8-minute game against Para, which is 11 points under his what he's priced at. This is the stat I love. The Roosters are such a hot side. He averaged 21.7 in goal kicks last year. Only had 1 line break and 4 line break assists in that whole time. So I haven't accounted for tries and try assists.
I don't know whether I like that or don't like that.
No, but that just means there's so much
more
room
to come.
for improvement.
Yeah.
Averaged at 69.9, and like coming back from an ACL, that's a big task. And the fact that he come back like that, he can only come back better. My only issue is the halves pairing. Is it going to clash too much? And I think NRL-wise, I think it's risky getting in a Daly Cherry Evans into a new system like that. It's less risky getting a Sam Walker, but there's also a proven factor of guys with other guys and how they perform. Shout out Max Bryden.
Yeah, blokes on blokes or whatever it was.
Dudes with other dudes. Yeah, shout out, because that really made me think that his perfect halves partner in the past few years, I think his best one was probably Hugo Savala in the past few years. And Daly Cherry Evans is not that. He's going to want his hands on the ball. Chad Townsend was pretty good too. He didn't play with Chad Townsend, didn't he?
No.
But I feel like Chad Townsend would have been good for him.
Would have been, but with Chad Townsend's form as well, I don't know. I have no idea.
Oh, I got a stat. 2025 last year, he had a few injuries. So take out his injuries. He averaged 70 for the year last year, but in 80-minute games, he averaged 84.
He was top 5.
So that's about 14 points of value.
He was top 5 for try assists by end of year, wasn't he, as well? And he was out for ACL for most of the year. I'm pretty sure he was. I'm pretty sure he got into top 5 for try assists.
Yeah, good question. Because I looked at line break assists, 4 line break assists, 1 line break. That means all his tries and try assists were kicks.
That's how he's giving his little crafty
and
little
support play.
His little tiny little grubbers and weird little in-out runs.
But that goes back to your question: how much is DCE going to take over once he gets in there? That's going to be my thing. If DCE is taking those last tackle options or those third tackle raids, how much ball is Sam Walker realistically going to be getting to lay on tries?
It said he didn't score a try last year. He didn't score a try last year.
He didn't score a try, but for try assists,
192 points in try assists. Divide that by 12. So 192 divided by 12. That's 16 try assists in 8 games.
Yeah.
That's an average of 2 try assists a game. But that's the type of player he is. He gets his hands on the ball. Tedesco was still killing it and getting as many try assists as him. I guess the start of the season, is there that many to go around to share between all these guys? That's the only devil's advocate I have.
Yeah.
But 21.7 in goals every game is nuts. I was talking about Zarko at one point. He only averaged 19 points in goal kicks for the year. Whereas Sam Walker, 21.7 in a Rooster side. We know when the Roosters are on, they're on. And they put teams to the sword.
I feel like he's a wait and see with DCE.
He is.
Yeah,
and is
one
he
to watch for sure, yeah.
Like me at the start of the podcast with Toby Couchman, it's simple. Is this simple?
I don't know. I mean, I really like just the 84 points in 80-minute games when he's priced at a 70. I mean, that seems like a standout. When we look for that anywhere else, that's a massive green flag. So I do like that. The
start of the season defence. You worried about that?
Yeah, they play Wars, the Bunnies, Panthers, Manly bye. There's no green early. There's no real soft sides.
Bunnies are green and they're shit.
Well, I've marked them up as yellow. Green is
he's a Bunnies fan. He's a Bunnies fan.
They were from last year. They're one of the shittest sides, but I've actually taken them up to a yellow category in my mind, which is I think there's going to be improvement with the players they got back.
That's going to be the big test. So Sam Walker, he'll go up against Fafita, Latrell, and Alex Johnston, all on the same edge. Cody Walker as well.
Well, luckily that's Daly Cherry's side, so...
Oh, yeah. So you reckon that Sam Walker will move over to the left?
He played left last year.
Did he?
Yeah.
I thought he... Oh, okay. Yeah,
he played left. That's why Daniel Tupou, as soon as Sam Walker came into the side, just started scoring tries off his dick.
Well, that changes everything for me. I think that's...
I actually... I didn't love him on the left initially, but I think he made a fist of it, to be honest, and I think he looks a lot better, looks a bit more comfortable.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know. I just feel like... Yeah, I like the left for him.
Do they play the Dogs early on?
Why?
Because, I mean, that's going to be a test. Preston, Critter.
Yeah, it's true.
That's probably the only right edge that's really stands out to me as troubling.
No, they don't have the Dogs in the first 7 rounds.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Much.
Yeah, so the Bunny side will be Latrell and the other side will be Jackie Whiten, who's pretty good
Jack White and Campbell Graham. And then whoever they put at halfback.
And they're pretty good defensively too.
Yeah, and
Jamie Humphries does his job.
Duncan maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind.
I would hope so. So I like him. Is he in the green book?
No, I got to put
You can't have more.
Can't have more. Like him, there's just not enough there for me. I mean, I do love that 84 and 80-minute average. That stands out, but there's others that just seem more attractive. Yeah. And I think, he's upside, but there's also the low side in him too. So, yeah, it's a bit of a roll of the dice. I think he could feature strongly in SuperCoach 2026, but not to
We've talked about DCE, but, like, is it worth chatting about their forward pack, the Roosters? I mean, they're going to get so much go forward next year. Let's say DCE can sort of sit back and let Sam Walker take the ball on, hoping they don't get too many injuries. Their pack is going to be unbelievable. And the far wide, if he kicks on again, Lindsay Collins, Origin forward, Victor Radley once he's back, C.Y. Wong, Fogerty, Blake State, these sort of guys, they'll be on a bit of a roll. Like, I think that is obviously something to look at when you're looking at Sammy too.
We've glazed them a bit in our rugby league show on the Burst.
Interesting. The Roosters have always started really shit. Like in the last 3-4 years, particularly. Last year, I felt like they were sort of maybe plagued a little bit more by.
They started very shit against the Broncos round one, but then round two they beat Penrith.
It wasn't as bad last year, but years prior they'd been particularly known as.
Yeah, but like I think with that Broncos one, it gave such a false narrative of the Roosters because we thought they were shit and they were going to do shit for the season. We just expected them to start losing. They really found something in them, and I think they found a recipe.
Had a lot of injuries, and then they galvanised with all the younger boys.
You know what I just realised as well? We're talking about DCE, Teddy, DCE, Robson, and Connor Watson at 13. Like, that's too many chefs in the kitchen too. So we're talking about DCE taking ball off Sam. All these guys could. I mean, with how involved Teddy was.
Well, it's a reason Teddy's not playing Origin is because he couldn't figure out a good balance to. But I also think it's part of what the makeup of the spine was. But I think Robson will keep to himself. I think he's brought to the club to be a very solid defender, simple role. Connor Watson, I'm not. It's DC. DC.
Well, he maybe doesn't need to be as creative. Like, he could probably just play more of a role, stay in your lane a bit more, and just let the other boys do their thing, and just sort of like when attacks are getting tired and stuff, sort of run his little game rather than sort of get in the way.
He probably needs 2 attacking stats a game with his goal kicking, and to keep up his average. If we want him to exceed it, we need to see what the role is of DC and Sam Walker, and I don't think you can risk starting with that.
143k less than Nath.
I like it. He's in your side. He's in the Les's log.
He's not in the Les's log.
He's in Brandon's bog. He's in the toilet. All right.
Good one, mate.
I don't like this. Jamal Fogerty, 6'6", 200. A career high last year of an average of 68.
Yep.
He was in the best side in the competition. He's moving to not as good a side. The Canberra Raiders last year scored 90 more points.
Yeah, but you know what? It's they're not as good a side maybe like on the ladder. I think they've got more attacking than Manly, which could suit him.
Yeah, it could.
He could really open him up. He could be putting people away a lot more because I feel like Manly has stronger finishers. Like in the back ends of plays and stuff, they've got more pizzazz.
There's a lot of upside, and we saw how Manly started last year. Manly tend to start quite hot.
For me, I'm excited for it. I think it could. I like the unknown of it.
There's reports that he's going to be goal kicking. Garrick averaged 12 points in goal kicking per game, and he kicked at 76%, whereas Fogerty kicked at 79%. But the Raiders scored 90 more points, so like his average is bumped up from that. What I like. It's not even that. It's his base and base power. Last year, it was 45 points in base and base power, which is crazy. And create, I think. I forget.
You don't make him more tackles than everyone else? Or I'm trying to get where he's getting it from because he doesn't.
45
like a known runner or anything.
Sorry, average 45 in create and scoring per game. So like he was key in their attack, and I think Daly Cherry Evans was a big part of that. Tom's going to be a massive part of that. Pick up a lot of slack, but I think Daly Cherry Evans' role was very similar to what they probably want from Fogerty. I see similar at Manly, pending how their forwards go.
If it's any consolation, DCE did average 63 by end of year last year.
So less.
He averaged 63 DCE.
Last year. So.
Does that factor in?
I guess
halfback of Manly?
They're completely different players, but let's just say Jamal Fogerty averages 63. He's got the goal kicking on top of it, which Daly Chervins didn't have. So,
yeah, that factors in for sure.
Got his first score of 100 last year was in round 8. He scored 125 against the Finns. He plays the Finns in round 5 this year, coming up, and he later scored 106 in round 21 versus the Knights, who he happens to have in round 2. So he scored 2 tons last year, and he's got both those sides in the first 5 rounds this year. So maybe if he's going to have some bigger ones, they might be earlier on.
Let's say he's about 100k cheaper. Is he a consideration then, more than now?
Yeah, I'd like his price 100k less, yeah, for sure. I don't like it as much now.
Yeah, I like the stats are positive, but it's just there's a lot of negatives as well. And I think there's a lot of better players at similar price. You can get Nico for 90k. It's starting to get a bit of a stretch, but I much prefer Sam Walker.
You can get Moses for 100k less. Yeah.
I'm not as hot on Moses as a lot of people are.
We shall get to it.
Les's log?
No, he's not there.
Nope. But I'm excited for him. I want to see how he goes.
I think he can, in years past, he hasn't averaged below 52 since 2021. 68 is by far his best average on a season. Yeah. I think we'll see him somewhere between 60 and 68.
Yeah. I think as well, obviously new halfback coming into the side as well, they probably might play a little bit different to suit his style of play. Does Brooks get a bit more involved? Does Turbo get a bit more involved? That's going to be the watch. It's going to be scary for Turbo. For Turbo, yeah.
He's 159,000 less than Nathan Cleary.
All right, Isaiah Katawa, 639,300. I am calling this the soup buy.
Soup, can of soup.
The soup. Because he had 1 ton last year.
Like a 1 ton noodle.
1 ton soup.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that coming at all.
He'll do that occasionally, yeah.
He had 1 ton last year. The only thing I consider that could be a positive for him, he had a great year last year. There's a world with all their backs, Selwyn Cobbo coming into the side, Tavita Nafau's come onto the scene, Trey Fuller could come in at fullback, Hammer into the centres, which could push Jermaine Asako out of the side. Isaiah Katoa is the backup goal kicker. Asako averaged 19.5 in goal kicking in 2025. So had Isaiah Katoa had the goal kicking last year and kicked at a very similar rate, he would have averaged closer to 85 last year. So I think that puts him in Nathan Cleary territory.
Yeah, let's beat Nath. Yeah, he beats Nath last year.
So I think that is the caveat to Isaiah Katoa. I think that's his absolute ceiling. He played out of his skin last year. I think he legit should have been.
It's a big word. Caveat. What's that? I don't know what it means. I was starting thinking about caviar.
I was actually a bit scared saying it because I'm like, did I say it?
I don't know. I don't think you did. I think you might have said it a bit wrong. It came out a bit funny.
But I mean, your point with Asako there, I just don't see him coming out of the side. He's been top 5 try scorer the last 3 years, Asako.
It's just the Jack Bostock, Selwyn Cobbo. If Selwyn Cobbo starts hot and...
Well, Cobbo is apparently going to play right centre, is my mail.
And there's just a lot going on in that. When we talked about it in our NRL show, there's a lot of ways they can go. I feel like they are going to go the safe route, keep Asako in the side. Yeah. There's just a chance.
Yeah, it's definitely worth talking about.
That would have taken him to purposes. 5 tons last year and 5 90s rather than 1 ton.
I think it's the same point I made about Fogerty. If he's 100k cheaper, I'm going to consider it more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not too keen either.
That's him at his peak.
Love him as a footy player.
Yeah. Yep. I like it. You're a massive fan of him. Is he in your side?
No, he's not in my side. As I said, if he was 100k cheaper or maybe even a little bit more, I'd consider it. I had him last year. I just don't think he's going to trend. With the cheapies that we've got and the guys that I've got, I'm super satisfied. I just don't think he's a guy that's worth picking up for me.
Okay, I like it. I guess he's in Brandon's bog then, in the toilet.
Yeah.
Thomas Dearden. Tom. Tom Dearden.
Thomas
felt so etched.
Yeah, I know. 637,900. He is actually training at 5'8" with Jackson Purdue at halfback at the moment. So there's every chance he gets a 5'8" duel.
That's when he could become interesting if you have him at 5'8", maybe. I don't think he's interesting at halfback.
Do not start him. Because
I think
their forwards are out. They've got heaps of forwards out to start the year.
I think, and like even Matt Lodge isn't going to get a visa to go over there as well, which is quite funny.
Because he's probably on he's on match payments or something, isn't he?
I think he's in a top 30 contract at minimum.
Yeah, he's on his top 30 minimum.
But he averaged 59 at 5'8" last year. He averaged 69 at halfback. So I would have preferred him at halfback running the side. I do prefer him at 5'8" as a player, but I just don't think they have a halfback that can play there. And I feel like this play is more of a play to keep Jackson Purdue at the club rather than in the best interest of the side.
Even though he's not playing halfback, he's going to be playing halfback with Purdue there, if that makes sense.
That's true. It's very true.
Last year, first 6 games, all 80-minute games, by the way, he only averaged 43.5. He had scores of 18, 28, 21, which is an absolute train wreck to start your SuperCoach season.
That's lights out stuff.
Yeah, that's absolute nightmares. He made up for it. You've sold him after 3 rounds last year. You've had enough after 18, 28 and 21. Then he comes out and scores 97 in round 4. So just to really dig it into you. There were people that would have had him. Then a 55 and a 42.
I'm trying to remember who they had last year, round 1. I'm usually pretty good at this stuff too.
It was Tom Weaver. They tried Tom Weaver at the start of the year, and then he got dropped.
No, Tom Duffy.
Tom Duffy. They did it at the start of the year.
Did they have the Titans round 1?
I can't remember.
Yeah,
I better just check. I'm just trying.
They played Vegas, didn't they?
No, they play Vegas next year.
I actually think from a football perspective, not a SuperCoach perspective, I've got them picked for the spoon, the Cowboys. So I actually think that all season really is probably an avoid.
I am on board with that. We look at Todd Payton. We look at sinking ships. I think Manly are on a very similar trajectory, whatever way they go. I think Manly are a bit more promising.
Yeah.
Don't know if I'm being biased there, but there's a lot of holes in the Cowboy side. I think they can really perform this year, but there's a lot of recipes for spoon disaster, and the Cowboys fit every kind of single aspect of it. They played the Dolphins round 1 last year.
So they got a really soft draw to start next year.
Manly.
This year.
They played Manly last year and lost like 42-0.
Yeah, so this year's really soft for them. They go Knights, Tigers, Titans. Oh, really soft. Storm, Dragons, Broncos. So 4 of the 5 are pretty good there, the first 4. His first ton last year was in round 25. In round 20 last year in 2025 was in round 8. And that was 143. So he got that 97 in round 5, then a big 143, and that was against the Titans, who he has in round 3. So he might do it earlier to start this year.
The difference is, though, they've got Griffin Neame out, I think, until round 6. I think they've got McIntyre's out for a little bit. Like, they've got a couple of forwards out.
Tamalolo.
I think they can get smashed and still put on some points, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think if they're the type of games where, they do get a bit of a walloping, the other team sort of eases up a little bit sometimes, depending on the club.
I've got more confidence in Drinkwater than I do in Dearden if I'm making a play for a Cowboys player.
Yeah, I'm not keen on Dearden at all either. But
do you think, just talking through it, is Reed Marnie a hooker? Like, are we getting a lot of value out of him if we think their side's going to go this busted?
Yeah, well, I mean, 400K, he's just got to get through his minutes, get through his tackles.
Probably 40 tackles a game.
I think price-wise, it's probably like you've got to have to take the chance. If he's playing 80 minutes at 400-something K.
They just signed Sonny Luke on a top 30 deal.
No, I doubt he's playing first grade. I love Sonny Luke, and he was at South on a training trial for a while there, and I was loving it. But I think that Reed Marnie's been brought to the Cowboys for a reason.
Yes, I agree. But unlike before, there's someone there that if they're named on the bench,
they had Carl Lawton last year. I think they had a development guy who's still there at the moment. So they had guys there.
They've got a guy coming through that they're pretty hot on. So
with that guy that debuted, was that I forget, his name escapes me. He's got a complicated name, but
Nwanga Nituasi.
The one complicated name.
Not that complicated. I doubt that Reed Marnie's going to play less than 80 this year, to be fair.
Yep. I think Tom Dearden is the first genuine one.
Yeah, let's not waste any more time
in
on
the
him.
bog. In the
Yeah,
bog.
put him in.
Like I should have a bog list.
Yeah.
And
His
that's
price too. He's expensive. He could still go good with those 3 games: Knights, Tigers, Titans. Despite how beat up his side is, he could still have opportunities if these 3 sides haven't sorted their shit out too.
Yep.
So, but yeah, there's better opportunities with guys at similar prices with more upside. and
Yep.
more
Well, if you're going to have a bet, head over to picklebet.com.au, use the code TURBO, and I think me and Les before decided we're going to do a nice preseason special. We've already locked in Parramatta Eels for top 6. Once something more obvious comes along, because we've both been hot on the Parramatta Eels, if something hot comes along that we all agree on, Cowboys bottom 4. Do we put that in there?
I'd say that. I'd say so.
Yeah. Let's put that in there. And head over to picklebet.com.au, use the code TURBO, but make sure to know what you're really gambling with. For free and confidential support, call 1-800-858-858. Talking about gambles, Adam Reynolds, I've put nothing on him because I'm just not interested.
The only thing I was keen on is he started super hot last year. First 3 rounds, averaged 98 points last year, 105, 69, and a 120. It dropped back, though, after the 6 rounds, which we can't just skew it to what we want it to look like because we'd compare it. But it was 67.5 after 6 rounds, which is pretty similar to a lot of the other guys that we've been looking at the elite level. But that early 3-round average spiked that.
What's the draw looking like for Broncos?
Pretty good. Penrith, tough one to start. Get that out of the way. They go Para and then Storm, so that sounds rough, but then it really opens up like nicely. It goes Finns, Titans, Cows, and Tigers. So he does have these 2 of the first 3 are hard in Penrith and the Storm, but there's 5 of the first 7 all green. Really, easy games based on last year's standards.
It feels like at the absolute best, we were talking about a loophole to get Cleary in round 4. I think that at the absolute best, that might be Adam Reynolds if he can start just as hot.
Yeah, but the only problem is he's got he's got Penrith, Para, and Storm. So I reckon Penrith and Storm will keep him very modest.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'd be good if we could shift his he could play Finns, Titans, and Cows first. But yeah, I see your way of thinking though.
I think the way they ended last year too, I think he turns into more of what he did at the Rabbitohs. I think when he first come to the Broncos, he was a bit more hands-on than he was at the Rabbitohs. And there was this new Adam Reynolds player that come into the Broncos system. I think now that Reece Walsh has kind of taken over and matured enough now, like you just want to Clive, I think he'll go back to that kind of role that he did at the Rabbitohs.
Plus Ezra Mam too. I feel like even in that grand final.
Ezra Mam, I really didn't rate him. Not rate him, but in that grand final where he scored 3 tries, I still thought there was a lot that he needed.
Something could have worked on. I love that you said that.
But
that was fucking one of the best performances. Maybe he could have worked on in that half a footy.
No, but I think as a 5'8", it was
Love
very
that.
one-dimensional. I thought he played a lot better in last year's grand final, so I'm a lot more interested in Ezra Mam this year than I've ever been.
Yeah.
And he's coming off a year that arguably it's been the year where a lot of people have not liked him the most.
A bit like Nath's second half, bit he could have worked on in that game too. Against the Broncos.
You guys will probably talk about it next, but he's not bad price-wise, ma'am. He's $5.85. Okay.
Yes, but he's a 5'8", so we'll be talking
Yeah,
about
that's what he's talking about.
I don't know. I've been comparing apples and
$5.85.
apples
Pretty good price, actually.
compared to Renault, who's what? What's Renault?
633,
Yeah.
31.
Fuck, I'd be.
I've already skipped my page. Yeah, let's move
All
on.
right, Jerome Hughes, 631,900, averaged 74 without injury-affected games last year, averaged 64.6 for the year. No Eli Katawa.
I also think that Munster, hopefully with a better stretch of injuries, he'll take more control, and I think you'll see Hughes's input drop a little bit, unless they get Lomax and he sits on that right edge, because then I think that's going to be their strike edge. But I almost think I think with Munster having a better run of injury, Munster's going to take more control on that side for me, and I feel like they'll go his way a little bit more, and Hughes' involvement might dip a bit.
Yeah, he's always been a Supercoach guy throughout the bye period, and I think he went to another level with Eli Katoa. I think the stats back it up. I'm not sure. I think he averaged 60 without him in the last 2 or 3 years. I just think we need to see without Eli Katoa. No, Eli Katoa doesn't make Jerome Hughes. Jerome Hughes is a great player, but it just takes away a string from his bow. I think I'll be interested during the bye period. He always is a great option.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Eli Katoa is a nice way to finish off those big plays, and will finish off those big plays more often than probably whoever fills in that hole. But I still think he'll form a good connection and still be able to put someone away.
Yeah.
It's not going to. I don't think it can. I think people are looking a little bit too much into like he does his own things. He's got a running game. He scores. He line breaks. He's got other strings in his bow.
Don't get me wrong. Like Jerome Hughes, the way he put Eli Katoa through holes, like he's always straightening up the defense and creating that hole. But you've got to have someone who knows. Oh yeah,
you've got to be able to complete that.
So
yeah.
I think he'll still have that opportunity. I just think when he does it 100 times compared to the 90 times Eli Katoa pulls it off.
Yeah.
That's what you mean, yep.
Yeah, he'll pull off your mum the other times.
But this is what I'm sort of saying as well, though, with that less option there, which I think suits your point really well. They've got Howarth on the other edge who can become a bit more of a strike centre, and everyone's talking about Howarth in this Origin line as well. If he can have a really good season, they're going to go down that left side a lot more, which suits Munster better than it does Hughes. They've got Coates too.
I'll tell you what, if Howarth does line up in that right back row spot, which there's been rumours that he does line up in back row, I don't think it's going to happen because I think they've got options. But I think he runs a pretty dangerous line. And I'd be...
He does. He was lethal last year in that back end. Just like he was running some wild little outline sort of things just from centre and being...
Whereas we haven't seen that on Munster's side with Howarth. We haven't seen it as much. But if he plays right edge back row, which I highly doubt, but if in the world where that happens, the drop-off isn't as much as like a Lasardi who's more of a probably wants to run over the top of someone.
I think they'd be more likely, though, to move Blore over and have Howarth on the left still rather than moving Howarth to the other side, just because of how good he's been on the left. Mm-hmm. I just feel like that's probably more likely a way to go, but it's definitely a conversation if he does move one in and they just go with what they've had in first grade for a while. Marion Seve did a good job left centre, so they could just slot him straight in. It's interesting.
Maybe Lomax plays second row.
Yeah.
Didn't want to play centre at Para.
I got a little bit on him. So first 6 games, we've been sort of looking at a bit of that with all the players. His first 6 games last year were skewed a bit because he was in and out a bit. He only played 60 minutes in round 1, 69 minutes in round 5, 40 minutes in round 6. So that meant he averaged 68 minutes across the first 6 games. So that a lot of the time, those back ends of games are when the points start to really flow as well. So also, that being said, when he averaged 80 for the season, his average increases to 70 instead of the 64.5. So there's 5.5 points in value just there too. So there's a bit I like. I mean, the draw's pretty decent too. He goes Para and Dragons, Broncos round 3, but then has Cows again round 4, Panthers round 5, a bit tough, and then the Wars. So really like 3 of the first 4 games there for him as well. And it's either like the top 3 usually for SuperCoach. It's Nath, Nico, and then Jerome. So I think for how much more lower down the pecking order he is, he should feature, he's price-wise, he's competitive. He's making it up sort of with his price.
Yep.
194,000 less than Nathan. I think, yeah. Nico was 71, you know what I mean? So when you're looking at it that way, and this is an elite proven guy, this is one of the guns of the position, I think people are writing him off too much. And I think that potentially people who do start with him, if they start really hot with Para Dragons, you can't bring him in for then Broncos, you probably wouldn't, and then they get Cows again. Like, you could really capitalise and get a really nice early start to the season with him too. So, yeah, like him.
Do you like him as a first 3 rounds play to Cleary?
Yeah, more so than...
Renault?
Yep.
Jerome?
Yeah, Jerome. No?
Nah. Although...
No, not saying I'm doing it, but I do like that strategy,
yeah.
No Pappy, that's a plus. And I feel like all these 3 Melbourne guys, the big 3... are going to benefit from no Pappy.
Question, because I think it's...
So then isn't that good for him then?
Yeah, but there's a lot of... probably more negatives in my opinion.
Question on that. So I think this is super likely to happen too if Lomax goes, and it's obviously an if. If Lomax... So Lomax, there's a possibility he goes to fullback. There's every chance he plays fullback for Storm when he goes there. Are you more confident in Hughes with Lomax at fullback or with Farlongo at fullback for scores?
Farlongo. I think because Hughes is that kind of guy that
could put him away a little bit more.
Like
line breaks.
All I'm thinking of is that kind of backline play with the fullback sweeps, and he'd always throw the ball to Pappy, and Pappy just like run through the gap. Whereas I see kind of if Lomax gets that in shape, he'll kind of maybe crab across the field, bust off a tackle, get an offload
Do a
away.
flick pass,
Yeah, and then like Jerome Hughes gets no points, whereas Farlongo, he gets that ball, he's pinning his ears back and going straight forward.
Yeah.
Another thing to note with Hughes is his season average was down a fair bit last year, averaged 64.5. Year prior, average 82. There's a big jump there. So he could be well underpriced on what he can put out. I mean, last year he only scored over 90 points 28% of the time. Year prior did it 40%. And yeah, just going all the way down the 80s, the 70s, like 2024 was a big. I mean, he was his daily M, yeah. But I think there's a bit there. I know that there's sides dropped off a little bit, but I really right in that Greenbrook case.
He's in your Greenbrook.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be in mine, so I'm surprised that you're so high on him. Maybe I'm just being negative because of the Eli Katawa thing. Like, am I just too one-sided, just thinking it's not going to work?
Well, that's the thing. I think if Lomax is right centre, that completely changes that for me then.
See, if Lomax is at centre compared to fullback, I like it a bit more because, look at Daly Cherry-Evans with the Manly Sea Eagles. He was able to go to Olakau'atu and Olakau'atu bust a bunch of tackles, but he also had that option of going to Ruben Garrick, and Ruben Garrick could score 4 tries in a game and Olakau'atu get nothing until the end of the game when got the junk points. So he had options to go to. If Lomax is in at right centre, then Jerome Hughes has options to go to.
Well, it's like Sam Walker and Mark Nwangani-Tuase or Mo Max from last year. So, it's an option. It's an option if he's there.
I like it. Metcalf out for a little bit.
He should be out for the first couple of rounds,
yeah. Tanner Boyd, not talking about him. He's pretty much a value. We've got to get through this. Adam Dewey, 556,000, tipped to start at starting halfback. Once he moved to 7, he averaged 81.3.
It's an option.
He's the goal kicker. They have a bye round 1.
He's 36 games playing in the halves across his career with an average of 69 when kicking goals.
Nice.
A lot of value there. Potentially will kick goals. Him and Appy just fighting out. Very similar in statistics.
I have heard a few rumours that Appy will get the goal kicking.
I've seen his Daily Telegraph put it out that he had a better stat, one was 78%, the other one's scoring 77% or something.
I have heard a little chat, but it's a little chat, so we'll see.
Appy doesn't play 80 minutes though, so there's going to be times where he does kick. So
yeah, exactly. I almost think that Appy, we sort of talked about it on our show, I think Appy plays less minutes this year anyway. So then you'd probably have to pick Dewey.
Who have they got though?
He does struggle right from the sideline too, Appy too.
Struggles to get it the distance.
Yeah, so that's the part. Maybe
he's Sam Walker used to
he's
be,
probably more accurate from most of the other parts of the field, but right on the So
whereas Dewey, it could go from right to left.
But he'll put enough oomph on it for sure.
Yeah.
So
compensate.
Yeah, I'm just looking at other seasons. Because the halves is what we're looking at here. 2025 played 5 games in the halves, averaged 65 when kicking. 2023 played 4 games in the half, averaged 60 when kicking. And then 8 games in 2022, averaged 72. So lots of value, at least 10 to 15 points of value playing in the halves for the Tigers when kicking goals.
He's my he's my version of your Jerome Hughes. I'm going to keep an eye on him.
Great draw. I mean, starts the season with a bye, which is a bit awkward. But has Cows, then South, Wars, Para, Knights, Broncos. So I've got, the first. Cows and South's really nice. Para and Knights quite.
But we're saying, he starts at halfback. If he has a shocker to start the year, there's every chance he goes back to lock as well. That's a factor.
Latu Fainu breathing down his neck.
Yep. And they're just going to to be rotating.
Is he half only, or what's his position status?
Dewey or Latu?
Dewey.
Adam Dewey.
Yeah, he can play fullback.
For SuperCoach.
For SuperCoach, it's just halfback. If he was dual position, I'd love it. If he was dual position halfback,
if he was
second row,
centre, he'd be nearly the number one owned centre because I'd love it. Round 2, but I feel like in a key position like halfback, I think you need to capitalise on points.
Yeah.
And I know people.
You mean if you could have him in centres for SuperCoach?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'd probably start with him. I'd forego the 1 week because centre is a bit of a wasteland.
You can hide him away
moment.
a bit. Yeah.
But in a key position, and I even think with like Jacob Carraz, I know this is going off topic, but I don't think you can forego the bye in round 2 to get him in.
I think you could start Adam Dewey, like if you really wanted him and preferred him, because with the flex, like if you're just confident to just roll out whoever your backup guy is, if he doesn't score fantastic, he drops out. And everyone else is going to be playing some crapper players elsewhere too, like a couple of 200k. Yeah, it's not ideal, but especially in the first couple of rounds when we think that we're only expecting like at best 60s, 70s from Nathan stuff.
Jock Bannon's also at the club from Brisbane.
Yeah. He's back.
Yeah, he's back.
He's back.
So I think that sort of plays into a fact they've got a few halfbacks to pick from. So if Adam Dewey's not crash hot, they can easily just move him back to centre or they can move him back to lock.
Is he in your book?
2021, it's a different year altogether, but averaged 82 over 14 games with
Played
kicking.
5'8" most of the year. Yeah. Is he in your book?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be a hard one to pick, and it'll probably be if like something happened to Mitch Moses in the preseason, who I probably prefer at a cheaper price, then I'd then go to look at someone like him potentially at a similar price.
I'll be keeping an eye on him. As I said, he's my sort of version of your Jerome Hughes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just waving.
Green book, but he's green.
It's hot.
Yeah,
He's only just edged his way in there. I thought he farted or something.
Lockie Galvin, 555,200, halfback only. 60.1 average at halfback. He's priced at a 56.8. I was a bit more interested than what I thought I'd be.
If Mitch Woods is there, then yeah, I'll consider it.
Yeah. Well, he'll be 5'8", dual. Then I think there's a conversation. But I think at halfback, I think there's a lot of other options higher and lower than him.
Well, just because I think Burton will probably take more of the ball if Burton's at 6. Whereas if Burton's at centre and Lockie Galvin's the 5'8" on the left with Burton, I can sort of get around that a little bit more.
Averaged 62 in his first 6 games last year, so there's a little bit of value based on his current price point.
At the Tigers?
Much. Yep. Has the Dragons by Raiders, Knights in the first 4. His first score of 100 was last year was in round 2 versus Para. There also he had 230 like games that were under 30 minutes. That sort of skewed his minutes sort of. So when he's playing 80-minute games, his average jumps to 60.5 as opposed to the 56.5 that he averaged across the season. So there's 4. Now there's a little bit. You probably you couldn't go wrong. It's just how well you'd go with him. I prefer others, but he's a nice price.
I agree. Is he in your book?
Nope.
He's not in. Like I'll be keeping an eye on him. One sort of thing with Galvin though that might. So first of all, if he gets moved to 5'8" and Mitch Woods is the halfback, that's going to be the watch. But also their forward pack, for me, will be a bit of a watch. If they're on a roll, like Galvin will be playing some good footy. His attack is so good. He started hot last year. I'd definitely be taking a look at it because I think Leo Thompson, Max King, Sitili Tupanua, Josh Curran, they've got a good pack. So I think I'd be definitely keeping an eye on that situation as a cheapie-ish.
I like it. All right. Let's go into Mitch Moses. I feel like it's taken a while to get
This is Mitch Moses policy. Let's get to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
283,000 K less than Cleary. It's a lot.
Yeah.
That's
it
a
is
lot.
We've
been talking about the others, 170 or whatever it is. 283.
You know what's funny? He's actually in my side because of the cash. But the more I looked into it, I don't like it. But I think you're getting what you pay for and allows you to upgrade elsewhere. Average 56 last year, which is down on previous years, 64, 68, 70 and 58. That was obviously with the goal kicking. My issue is his draw. He averages 46 against the Storm. He averages 55 against the Broncos. He averages 59 against the Dragons. And he averaged 48 versus Penrith. So in the first 4, it feels like you're not getting value based on his career average against these clubs.
Yeah, but he averaged 55.5 last year. Didn't kick. So he's getting that back. That's exciting.
I want to quote the great Sketch, special teams, special players.
Yep.
I think that it's a different year. I think Pezzett coming in is going to be huge.
Yep.
I think the forward pack and the role that they were getting on towards the back end of the year is going to be huge. Yongi second year. I just feel like they've got a really good side. I think it's a premiership window. I think Moses, hopefully injury free, I think that he's going to have a huge season. I almost think that he'll probably rise in at least 200K by end of season. Like he'll be one of the more expensive ones.
I think so too, but I just think the price is great, but I think it's going to be a slow burn. I think the draw at the start of the year is rough. And
I've got a really just stand out stat that I think that's just so he averaged 55.5, which we've already gone over last year without not kicking goals. The year prior, we're just going to look at his scores minus the goals. 56, same as last year. This is in 2024. Year before that, in 2023, without goals, 55.5, exactly the same as last year. And the year prior to that, 2022, 57.5. It's exactly the same. It's a variance of 1.5 points in his scores when not kicking goals. Adding goal kicking to him, 2024, it's 64, 2023, 68, and 2022, 70. So I feel like he's got to jump to a 64 to 70 point player. I feel like there's at least 9 to 15 points of value, which is just dog's ball stands out more than any of these others that have got a bit of a 5.5 or I think there was one before that might have had a 10 or something like that, but there was something a bit skewed in it.
Yeah.
This one just sort of stands out to me. I think it looks really nice. The tough thing is, I guess, the people bringing up, and why a lot of people not keen is the draw. So plays the Storm, then the Broncos. The Storm don't lose the first game of any year,
playing in
despite
Melbourne,
whatever Storm team this is compared to previous
although
seasons.
I tipped them to win.
Yeah, well, didn't we make the same comment about Cleary with the bad draw? It could be a good or a bad thing with him. I feel like it's the same
that's
with
why I've
Moses.
looked into his average, and his average is below par. So against the Storm, he averages 46. Doesn't generally score well against them.
Then he goes to the Broncos.
Broncos 55, bit higher. Dragons 59. Penrith 48. But historically, it's not impressive. And
He has South, not the Dragons, in round 3.
Dragons round 3, yeah.
Does he?
That's what it says, yeah.
Oh, I've got South here, but I must have fallen. We'll go off
Oh no,
what
he's
you're
in my side. I'll just double check the draw.
We'll go off what you're looking at, not what I'm going off.
Well, I was looking at my notes, so.
Oh, okay, we're both going off notes. I thought you were actually looking at a proper draw.
Yeah. Melbourne Broncos, St George, Penrith, and then he plays Tigers, Gold Coast Bulldogs.
South and St George both start with an S, so let's give me benefit of the doubt on that one. I'll put a line to that.
No, that's fair.
I think that's where it stands out for me. Just that the kicking is just one little thing.
I also think with how a lot of people are building their sides as well, he just suits that. Especially if you're looking to go heavy in other positions, especially outside backs, Moses suits that to a T.
Yep.
Yeah, he could underwhelm though. If he doesn't get much out of round 3 Dragons, who Storm, Broncos, Panthers in the first 4 rounds, they could be all sub 50 scores. They could be pretty yuck.
Yeah, see, I just feel like if you're holding on to Moses,
then goes Tigers, Titans,
and then he's underwhelming the first 3, and you haven't got Cleary or Hines, and they start to look good, there's going to be a lot of FOMO.
Yeah,
and not even FOMO. You're genuinely going to need these guys in your team.
The problem is though, by the time you trade Mitch out, if you do decide to give him a go against Storm, Broncos, Dragons, and Panthers. By the time you then make that shift to Nathan or Nico or whoever it is, he goes Tigers, Titans, which are probably the better 2 games with him. Maybe Tigers are come up a bit more up in the last year.
What I think is, I'm cold on him. I don't think I'm going to start with him.
I'm not as hot.
And I know there's the goal kicking. You put the goal kicking and not the goal kicking, and I feel like they're a year on. I'm very high on the Parramatters. I think they win a lot of games. But I feel like the goal kicking isn't enough against these sort of sides that I think he's going to compete with these other guys. I'd rather nearly a double cheapy route where you can upgrade elsewhere. Actually, no, I don't like that at all.
Disregard. Yeah. So that came out of my mouth, but I don't like that. Yeah.
Do you think it's almost worth? We're talking about going from Moses to Cleary or Moses to Hines. Do you reckon it's almost worth it going Hines to Moses, depending on if Hines
doesn't work out? You could go to because by the time he would open up and go Tigers Titans, that's possible.
Yes.
Yeah. So, maybe that could work. And then because Hines is probably a more consistent, safe play, and if it fails for whatever reason, then you could maybe veer off that way. The other thing I like about Mitch Moses is that he missed the first 6 games of last year, and in 2025, he only played the first 3 games before then missing the next 9 games. And he missed a bit of footy last year around the Origin period. He's not played much footy over the last 2 years, so I personally feel like he's going to be frothing to get out there. And just with the little bits of, representative footy that he played last year, I feel like he really wants to stamp. I mean, this is just me making assumptions and stuff and just on vibe, but I feel like he really wants to stamp himself as, an elite half and compete with Nathan. You know what I mean? So I really...
I see that.
I feel really they could come on as equals, and I feel like they all... Like, the only thing that Nathan's got the records of the wins, you know what I mean, and the trophies, but I feel like Mitchell's just had a little bit of interruption here and there and not the right team around him, but just the little bits I've seen of him last year, he looked like he just grew into his face as well. Like, I don't know, something about growing into his face. He looks a lot more senior, and I just feel like this is a year for him. He's
so much safer as well than the Hugheses and the Deweys and all these guys that we've thrown up as potential watchers. Like, so much safer. Like, I'm so much more comfortable starting with Moses to sort of suss him out the first couple rounds than a few of the others. Even Jaden Campbell. Like, I'm way more comfortable going Moses there.
Yeah, I think just because what I look for in my starting team is they need to, if they're not starting well, I need them to be kind of a sure thing, or like if they're not starting well, they need to.
They're not going to cost you a trade, or because they're a keeper.
I need them to be someone who you need to get in anyway, whereas I feel like Moses isn't going to be someone you need to get in because Hines and Cleary are the superior ones.
Can I ask you a real big question, which I think could be a bit of a loophole trick? Say if you want to go with Hines and you want to go with Moses and you want to go with the cheapie there at halfback, maybe start Hines at flex and Moses in the halfback role, and then if Moses doesn't work out, you move Moses to flex and trade for Kinney?
I think you start with Kinney anyway.
Yeah, I'd start with him too. But I like the idea of being able to move everyone down and shift it around and then get someone else in.
I like that a lot more. I think that's a viable tactic because at least you get one of these guys and there's every chance you just trade Moses up to Cleary or Hines anyway.
That's really viable, I think, because for you've got Ponga you're potentially going to get rid of out of your 3 fullbacks and flex options. I've got Reece Walsh in my side as one of my, and I'm not particularly, he's just holding a place for me there. So I said to you before the pod, I'm probably going to get rid of him. So that could be the way I get Nico there and do something like that. Yeah. So I really do like that. And
I think put that in my notes. It's good to have, especially with Folongo and Kinney, these sort of guys, starting lower in price, probably similar to Moses as well. It makes that move really easy, and you're still getting a good quality player in your halfback in Hines, rather than obviously having to trade Moses if you don't have enough cap space and you don't want to get rid of one of your CT dubs, and having to get someone in who's not as great, if that makes sense.
I'm live trading. I could get Cleary. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. I'm getting Nico and Cleary.
That'll change. Better do a team review. What do we got? What do I have? One last thing on Mitch. Okay, yeah. My last thought on Mitchell Moses is it's hard for me to admit that I'm less hot on him after maybe a little bit of this conversation, and I don't want to be emotionally attached to players just because I've been super hot on them from day one. I do feel that Mitchell Moses is going to be someone who's going to finish on a lot higher price tag than 540. Maybe it's just the timing. Maybe he's not someone to start with. Maybe
he moved to him after.
Maybe it is. I think it is his year, and he's going to be very SuperCoach relevant. It could be just about timing, whether it's around Origin or when maybe one of the other guys we prefer to start with runs into a tougher draw, or as soon as that injury comes to one of the key guys that you then have to find one of the next options. Yeah, I'm not putting a line through him and saying he's not in my side, but there's no one else yet that the only one I can feel like in my little pinky is Nico. I feel like he kind of stood out to me a little bit, looking nice.
You had a little cheeky smile there. I don't know what you've done. We'll find out.
Yeah, my side's all over the place now.
He's just.
I traded out Ponga for Hines, and then I traded Moses to Cleary, but I needed to fund that, so I had Munster in my 5'8", sold him to Cody Walker. I had
tearing his tight apart.
I had Herbie Farnworth, and I sold him to Kale Ero. And
you're gonna have to change the name of your team now. You can't even be the Savage Mania. It's a whole different setup now.
The Savage Turncoats.
All right, so he's obviously Moses. We're talking about Moses still?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I sort of tend to agree with you now. I think he's definitely a must-have, but maybe not for round one.
Maybe not. The draw's tough. It's annoying. And you do want to start hot. I do like his price. It frees up doing other things, and he still feels like a gun, and it does feel like there's value in him because he's going to be getting kicking that he didn't have.
Yeah. I think if you really want to start with Moses, there is that flex play that you could go for.
Maybe it's offset, like the fact that he gets the kicking by the fact that the draw's quite awkward. And yeah.
Potentially.
Let's talk about his old mate.
Dylan Brown.
Yeah.
Hopefully he gets 5'8" draw, because I think that's a conversation we can have. He might start a halfback for 535,000. Not a whole lot changed last year for him, to be honest. Like, he still played 80 minutes most weeks. He just didn't play a lot. So
it felt like I thought there was going to be a bit of that too.
I was looking at it and I was like, hang on a minute. He's just underpriced because he didn't score as well in a worse side. The difference was base power. I looked at his base power last year. It was 38. The year before, 41. 2023 and 2022, 51 and 50. So I think coming over to the Knights, he'll have much more intent, and he'll probably get up to that 60, 65 average once again. He'll have his hands on the ball more. He's got much more attacking weapons at fullback. I think it's a great price. We've always started with him at 600, 650. What do you want?
Do you wait till he's dual position? Because he's probably going to start the year at 5'8".
He would get that prior to round one.
Okay.
Pending trials. If they don't play, if he doesn't play a trial,
he won't.
He probably won't.
If he turns to dual position post round one,
I think he's a shoo-in for 5'8". Yeah,
I'd stuff off Munster for sure.
My issue is I've got Ponga. I've got rid of him because he might not play round one. I've got Lucas in my side, so I feel like Lucas, McEwen, Trey Mooney. It's just too many Knights, and I'm just trying not to overload with too many Knights when they're a club that's got a new coach. But I feel like they got the foundations to be a good side.
Yeah, I'm not going to touch him at halfback. I'll definitely look at him at 5'8".
I think so. He's in my book.
Yeah, he's interesting. Cows Manly was it's not too tough to start.
Awesome.
And Vegas is
bit of upside there.
Bit of upside there. It's exciting. I love having a player in Vegas.
He could do a bit of a Xavier Savage and just unexpectedly blow up.
I remember that. How good was that last year?
Yeah, so good. Like, the season average has been quite a lot down. He's normally a 66 to 76 sort of player. He was at 55, so he's sort of 10 to 20 points off last season compared to where he's normally at. I don't know whether that was maybe just partly sort of knowing he's on the way out too, and just maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, look, I'm not too sure. As I said, I think at halfback, if he actually plays halfback too, I'm not going near him.
Yeah, too distributing, not as runny.
He has to be playing 5'8" for me to even consider it. And
I'll tell you what, I like him better than Mitch Moses to start the year.
Well, I think there's a lot of people. I think it's going to be Sand and him.
I think so too.
And I reckon they'll go with Sharp on the wing. I think he can still do great things. I know he's exciting, but he can still do good things there. Maybe they go Sharp 6, Dylan 7.
You know what? Like I've got a Knights fan in my DMs who goes to all the trainings. He knows all the guys in the lower grade and stuff, and he's confident that Sharp is going to play some really weird hybrid role that's almost going to be like second fullbacky,
or like at 14 or something.
Like come on roaming
13.
Well, I'm getting less confidence in Sandon. To be fair, I think it'll be Brown and it'll be Sharp. But I think Sharp plays like a second fullback is the vibe that I'm getting.
You know what? I see that working. They don't have a genuine halfback. Sandon's pretty much like a number.
But a second
5'8".
fullback is basically a kind of a 5'8", too, in a way.
And like, if they're going to go all in on it, don't go this half-ass shit like the Titans have been for ages. Yeah. Just go all in on it, and I don't mind it.
Which kind of means Dylan at halfback if you go on.
That I like Dylan at halfback. Oh, do ya?
Nah.
I don't know. Does that put too much on his play?
I need to see the first couple rounds if that's the way that they're going to go before jumping on him. Because I just feel like you look at his footy at halfback at the Parramatta Eels, which was a good side. It's probably better than what the Knights have this year roster-wise. He didn't go well.
Let's hope they make a decision and stick with it, though, and not...
What do you? When do they train? Where do they train at?
Newcastle? I don't know.
Merriweather? I don't know.
I got next Wednesday and Thursday off. Maybe I should...
Pop down? Do it. Let's go.
All right. Book for 5'8"?
I kind of feel like he kind of should. Oh, for 5'8", yeah.
I also said I prefer him over Moses at halfback. I'm reflecting on that. I don't like. I'd much prefer to have Moses as a player in my side because I know I know what sort of player he is, and I know he's hungry to score points.
Well, Dylan Brown seems like if you play him, he's a safer for his running base sort of style. He's going to be more like you hope you get at least your 50s, 60s out of him. Where Mitch, when he doesn't put on the points, could score lower. But the upside in it seems like there's way more upside in Mitch Moses at a similar price, kicking goals. And
is it too much though? Like Brown, Sharp, Ponga, they're going to take away from each other surely?
Well, they have to work.
No, I don't think so because but it took away from Ponga last year the fact that Sharp was so on the ball.
Yeah,
like it was obviously in the SuperCoach.
Yeah, I like Sandon in there. I really like him. I reckon they need to give him a run.
I love Sandon.
Yeah.
So in the book for 5'8", not for halfback.
Yeah.
Last one. Atkinson versus Sanders.
It's Atkinson every day of the week for me.
They're pretty similar, I reckon.
But I've got no confidence. I reckon Sanders, if I'm putting myself on the line a little bit here, I reckon Sanders will be dropped by round 4.
Just because...
I reckon Black's going in for sure.
I feel like I've heard people who watch Kobe Black and feel like he's not ready for first grade yet.
I think he will be. Because, I mean, how much confidence have they had in Sanders so far? They looked at Ilias. They looked at Dean Hawkins. They pretty much looked at everyone that was available. Hugo Savala, there was even prior chat a little bit there. And then they got Kobe Black in as well as an option. I just don't... Optically, that looks like they've got zero confidence in... Not zero confidence, but a lot less confidence than what they should for a guy that's going to be starting at halfback for them in round 1.
Ethan Sanders likely kicking?
Goal kicking, yes. Yeah. Yes, and that's been confirmed also.
So 2 first-grade games in 25 and 2 first-grade games in 24. He averaged 36 points in 25 and he averaged 50 points in 2024. They were over 80 minutes as well.
Plus the goal kicking,
so
you only need him to average 45, 50 and then you've got what you need out of him. Like, if you can go on a run at scoring a try or 2, then that's when you go to cash him out at, above what his average is. But, like I'm looking at Daniel Atkinson and I see he played a lot of the season in 2024. He played a lot of 80-minute games. He finished off with a 31, but he only averaged 45 in that time. And I guess, I've been saying that I think because Atkinson's the
as
man
a utility that like as a fill-in, like now it's his role. It might be a bit different.
Yeah, this was when he was playing 80-minute games.
Yeah, but it was kind of a replacement to someone else too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
He might have been 6 a lot of the time.
Now he's like if he has an opportunity just to work on a role, maybe it helps.
Will be the main guy as well. And I've been saying it all preseason that I prefer Atkinson over Sanders just because SuperCoach wise he used to be a fullback. Yeah. So.
It depends on how much of a hand on the ball or how much control Flanagan takes over. Because Atkinson's been named at 7, but there's every opportunity, especially with how Shane Flanagan's coached his football sides, that Flanagan is the halfback, even though he's wearing the 6.
You know what I think? I think it's going to be very similar to last year where Flanagan stays in his left corridor. That left side's going to pump again because Christian Tuipulotu absolutely pumped when King Tonga wasn't in the side. King Tonga leaves, Flanagan on the left. That left side's going to be lethal again. So I think Val's a very good option when we talk about centres. But then that right side is going to be Kyle will still come in at first receiver, and he'll play as like a second fullback with Gutho out the back as well, kind of. But he'll still play second receiver on both sides.
I'd almost think that, and he's not on a halfback, but I almost think that Flanagan's an option then.
What?
As like a backup. How
He's
much is Flano?
489 at 5'8", which is, I mean, it could get you by until you make a decision.
Yeah. Anyway, talking about halfbacks.
He goal kicked most of the back end of last year.
It depends.
As well, so.
It depends on how much control Flano takes over, right? Is, I guess, the only thing that I'm worried about with Atkinson. Otherwise, he's their starting halfback. He's got more job security at the moment than what Sanders does. He's the safer option.
And I think people are going to be enticed by the goal kicking, where in real life...
Yeah, I would take the goal kicking if one has it and the other doesn't.
Yeah.
I would take that.
But I just see, I think Atkinson just...
Atkinson's got about twice the upside attacking. Like, he's going to lay on more try assists.
He could be playable.
I'm just looking at his points. Like, he averaged 45 across 15 games in first grade, and he's averaged 50 points in New South Wales Cup across 40 games. And this is in the halves.
I'd get it up.
That seems like if he's 50s where he's peaked, there's definitely value there. But he'd probably maybe closer to 40, 45.
I'd get it up, but I have absolutely no idea how. I want to see what his score was against when he played the Sharks. Against the Storm. What was his score against Melbourne when he...
71. I just looked at it.
Yeah.
He was goal kicking too.
I think it's a tough one though, because...
I just feel like this one, like... They're both such untapped potential. We can't go on past scores. Like, we've just got to go on vibe, eye test. My vibe is Atkinson is the better play. But the stats kind of say that, well, Sanders, when he gets the goal kicking, probably averages as much as we want.
I think I'm only going to have one of them. I don't think there's going to be a world where I try to fit one into flex to get an extra cheapie or anything like that. And which is great. I think it's interesting, especially if people can only have one. It just means that that's two different routes where some people get it more right than others.
I don't know. I'm pretty keen on Atkinson. I think that he's got way more attacking upside, and I think that Sanders is going to be dropped by round 4.
The good thing about Atkinson is he's got a little bit more experience, I guess, off the ground running than Ethan. Yeah, a bit further along in his career, but maybe Ethan Sanders is a bit more touted. He's just not as far along in his development yet. You know what I mean?
I really don't like the vibe I get from Canberra and him.
And you know what? There's every chance that Sanders ends up like he misses 2 goals.
Like a bit like Duffy last year, and then they just go, fucking get out of here, mate. You're costing us the season already.
At Duffy, we're like, he's goal kicking halfback. We've got to get him.
Yeah, true.
Is there a chance, and I know that Garino's thrown this up a couple of times on Bloke, but I just doubt it happens, but is there a chance that Strange plays 13 and they play both Black and Sanders?
No. Not start the year at least.
Yeah.
The thing I like about Daniel Atkinson is he's just got, he's a little bit of a mongrel. Like he's got that little bit of... I don't know. I
like what I'm seeing from the club too. Like they're really proud of him, and I think that gives a lot of confidence to a player, thinking they're the guy. And like I feel like he'll feel like he needs to do a lot, whereas Sanders, I know he'll. I think if anything,
maybe want to tread on eggshells a little bit, sort of.
Yeah, maybe not so feel like pressure of the world, like he needs to score points, but I think he'll want to impress Ricky and do the instructions he gives him as a halfback.
Stick to the role.
Yeah. And he's,
go too outside of...
Yeah, I've seen him play quite a bit, and he doesn't, like, I've never seen him really take the line on and really be an attacking player. And I think a lot of attacking stats will come from kicks if he does get some. So, I don't know. I just, vibe is Atkinson, stats say Sanders.
But Kobe Black, on the other hand, if they do, for whatever reason, go with him, a little bit more in Queensland Cups, his averages are a bit higher, 49.5 without goals, and then the year prior, 62, only over 5 games, but that's pretty good.
Which one's going in?
I'll probably, leaning towards Atkinson.
Sorry, I don't know if you've already said it, but if Atkinson added goal kicking to his score, what is he looking like?
It's hard to say because he has kicked goals
No.
in last year, but it wasn't much. Like he only kicked 14 out of 18 goals in 15 games.
It's so hard because he's played that one game at 7 for Melbourne, whereas every other game he's been second fiddle to either Trindle or Hines.
Yeah.
So there's not much sample size. That one game of 71, he did goal kick that game. And it was against Melbourne. So there's so much unknown.
Yeah.
And I feel like stats could be skewed. I think it's obvious. Like, take the opportunity, whereas like a Canberra, they're behind a really good forward pack though.
What do you think is the more advantageous option if we're going to go Hines and Cleary, or are you going to go Hines or Cleary or Moses and Cheapy? What's the better option for?
I'll be going someone and Cheapy.
Go someone and Cheapy?
You got to go someone and Cheapy.
Yeah.
These Cheapies, like, we're not talking about them like, are they worth the buy? It's like, which one are we going to have? Because we're going to have one of them because they're really good. They're both really good.
Yeah, cool.
Just because, you need to free up enough cash to have the guns elsewhere, and then allow them to make enough money to
put them both in the book, because I feel like there's a lot to learn.
And I hope they're both available too, and people have to decide. Or
100%.
Yeah, that'll be mad.
All right, who's the MVP of today's session? I will vote first because I feel like I've been thinking about this. Yeah. I think it's Nico Hines.
Yes. Yeah, I think so too. I think.
Oh, you're pretty hot on Jerome Hughes.
Don't mind Jerome.
You're hot on Jerome.
I think Nico.
I just think I was set in stone on Moses. That Nico chat's made me unsure. I think that Nico could be a really good option to start with, and then if Nico does go downhill, you could go to Moses and get 200k or something.
Nico is 206,000 more than Moses, so just something to consider. Which means you want him to be getting about maybe at least an extra 20 points.
And if one of those CT dubs, if you haven't gone hard in the CT dubs, if one of them pumps, or if you've got like Terrell May or Adden and Payne Haas is pumping and you want to go that way, you could just go Hines, Moses, and then upgrade one of your front rowers to Payne.
You know what? I think about it. 20 points. You're saying he needs to get 20 points. Sounds like a lot, but if Moses gets 45, it's 65. I feel like that's so achievable. And like with Nico Hines,
I feel like he'll get 65 easy. Nico, you kind of want him to get more though. Yeah. I think he averages that pretty consistently in the first 6 rounds most years,
All right, Les, thanks for jumping on. It's bloody late. I said to the boys at the start of the year, we're not going to go over the hour mark for the podcast this year because people tune out after the hour mark, and I think we have about...
We're nearly at
20% that stick on right to the end. So I'm keen to look at the analytics for this one.
Yeah, Kane. If you're staying on, you're a true one. You're a real one.
Shout out Timmy. Good session.
Should we talk some shit now about the guys that
watching? You tuned out. Fuck you, dog.
We talk shit about them. We're like all in. Like everyone that's watching, don't tell them. It's just a little secret between us.
Yeah. For those that don't know Big Les's content, he uploads like 8-minute podcasts. So this is the equivalent of like 30 podcasts for you.
It is. You will get that odd hour one in there, but yeah, it's definitely more the short form stuff. So yeah, if you're sticking on from my side of the fence, you're a warrior. That's all I have to say. There you go.
You're looking at me like you like me to say something?
Oh, I thought you were going to say something. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. It was a long session, but thank you guys. It's been a great one. And did we vote the MVP?
Probably Nico.
I'd say Nico Hines.
Nico. So we've got our MVPs for the year, Sandon Smith, Toby Couchman, and Nico Hines. Next week, I'm not sure if we're doing 5/8 or second rowers.
Are we looking into draw too much?
I remember I said at Team Picker Podcasts, we're not looking at the draw. Yeah. And we're looking at the draw.
Because, I mean, by that factor, then maybe we are, you know what I mean? Maybe Mitch is still worth looking at harder.
Fucking hell.
You know what I mean? It's just something to think about.
Stay tuned next week for the second part of the Halfback podcast.
Well, that's what it was this week. We started talking about the props for the first 20 minutes of the podcast. We'll be talking about Halfback.
All right, thank you. Sorry. I cut you off way too early there. I thought you were stopping earlier than you actually did.
Here's what it is.
All right, cool.
Easy. Fucking hell.
What a